Welcome to another episode of the Texas Patriot Channel. This is a series of videos on making an automatic chicken waterer, and I had some friends that asked me to do a video on it, so we're going to do that. And in this stage, we're actually going to put the nipples into the PVC. So what we need to start this is you're going to need a 21/64. 21, can you read that, Gina? 21/64 drill bit. And then do not follow the instructions on the nipples that you get, because it says drill the hole and then just screw them in. That's not going to work. You're going to end up messing up the threads on the nipple. So you need to get a 3/8 fine thread tap. 3/8 fine thread tap, and that will take care of it for you. Make sure it's fine thread. 3/8 fine thread tap. I didn't have the T-handle for the tap, so I'm going to be using a crescent wrench. We're going to need plumbing tape to help seal it. We're going to need, of course, a drill, cordless or electrical. And then last, we're going to need our nipples. Now, I've already measured this out. How you design yours is up to you, so you're not going to design it necessarily like mine, because mine's going to be from my coop. But I measured out already. The black dots are already on here. And I measured out, and I've got one every 14 inches. There's going to be 8 on this one when I'm done. And then I'm going to do another one just like it with 8. This is a finished model. If you'll come on up. If you'll come on up. And then you can see what it's going to look like. So right now it's upside down. So when it flips over, we can see the nipples are already in. And the idea is the chicken will come up and peck at this, and they'll get their water that way. So there's 4 of those in now. And now we're going to do this one with 8. All my holes are already marked. You want to make sure when you do these holes that you stay on what you've decided is the top. So I've got my marks all the way down on what I've decided is the top. When you do the drill, make sure you don't force it, because you don't want to expand the PVC too much to where you won't be able to tap the threads in. And I have to find my first mark. And it's right here. And I'm just going to do really one of these for y'all. See, no reason to force it, be in a hurry, anything like that. The hole's tapped. Turn it over. Try and knock anything out that's in there. Then you go in with your tap. If you've never used the tap before, you want to make sure you go in straight and you keep it straight. If you've used the tap before, you already know that. When you're tapping into PVC, you can do most of it by hand. It's really not that hard, but when you start, it's the critical point to when you want to make sure you stay straight. So don't be in a hurry. Get it going and keep an eye on it. See, now, right now it's at a slight angle that way, so I'm gonna fix that. And they always do that when you start. If you had a T-handle, you'd be probably using a T-handle, but this works just fine. Alright, once I get so far, I'll start using my crescent wrench. It just goes on there and slightly turns. And I'm only going to have to do a few turns with this crescent wrench, because once the threads get good and cut in, it pretty much goes by hand after that. And it's faster if you do it with your hand instead of, a quarter turn with the crescent wrench. Be careful not to try and spin it with the crescent wrench. If you have a T-handle, you can, but with a crescent wrench, you might go make it kick one direction or another. So the threads are good and started. So see how easy? I'm just going to go in by hand now. And you want to run the tap in, at least 3/4 of the way. Oh, and by the way, this is a 1-inch pipe. You have to use a 1-inch pipe. 3/4 is too small for the nipple to get a good seat on. So you need to use a 1-inch pipe. Now I'm in, so now I'm going to back it out. That's it. My hand, and it just backs right out. Clean the nipple off so it don't mess with you next time when you start. Turn this over. See that stuff falling out? Alright, now we're going to get a nipple. I'm going to get some pipe tape here, Teflon tape. Now, I don't know if I'm going to talk to people that have never done this before. For those of you that have, this part ain't necessarily for you. When you're wrapping the tape, start it here. Here's your threads. You're going to go this way, and it's opposite of the way that this turns. Okay? Take it, go around. 2 wraps with this Teflon tape is sufficient. And then just break it off. Make sure that there is no Teflon tape on the thing like this. It's bad. I'm going to redo this one because I don't like it. Let's try that one more time. There we go. And just finish it off. This is what you end up with. Nice Teflon tape. Then you just thread it in. And it goes right in, no problem. It does get a little tight. I'm not sure that I didn't put too much Teflon on there. I'm going to have to get this one going with the wrench. This is actually the first one I've had to do this on. Bring it all the way down. There's a little gasket on here, so you just want to snug it up. You do not want to strip the threads. Okay, just snug is fine, and this PVC will strip out real easy. And there you go. There's one, so when it's upside down, the nipple drops, and there's it goes. So we'll come back when I'm done with the 8. I don't think you want to sit here and watch me do 8 of them, and we'll be back in a minute. All right, and we're back. I guess that was about 20 minutes to drill these, tap them, and install them all. So this one has 8 in, and you can see they're all even on what we're calling the bottom. When you flip this over, they're all going to be on the bottom like that. Okay. All right, so I'm going to do one more of these. I'm looking forward to showing y'all my whole system. Once it's together, we'll have it together tomorrow. And another thing we're going to look at is the different options you have to hold water. Getting the water to this is a couple ways to do it. There's inexpensive ways, there's mid-range, and then there's very expensive. So I picked the mid-range, and we'll talk about that when we get to it. So this is how you put in the nipples, and we'll look at the system tomorrow. All right, Texas Patriot back. Now we're going to cover what we're using to hold the water to get into the water system. You can see all the PVC glue and everything over there. There's PVC underneath. I'll show you all the whole system when we're done. But we already drilled our holes, put our nipples in the PVC. I'm just gluing it all together. So now we're going to look at a couple options to hold water. All right. So I told you when we were doing the nipples that there's a cheap way to do this, and a mid way to do this, an expensive way to do this. Here's your cheap way, 5-gallon bucket. I didn't do this because here in Texas it's 100 degrees right now, and any water in here, even sitting in the shade, is going to get hot really, really fast. If you put a 2-liter ice deal in here, it's going to melt and still get hot really, really fast. So I just opted out of this. This was $2, $1.68, something like that at Home Depot. So I just didn't do that. There's plenty of videos on how to do these. It's not hard. So I just wanted y'all to know that's one of the options. Here's what I chose. 5-gallon water cooler. Basically, and I'll show you what you need to do this. This is the water spout that was in there, right here. This is what came with it. And it was just in there, and it's got a backing with a gasket that just screws on and holds it in. So I just unscrewed it, took it out, put a 1/2-inch nipple in there, screwed the gasket and the bolt back on, and then came out with a 1/2-inch PVC. So this is my nipple that I put in, and then I just connected a 90 to it to go down, and that's how the water is going to come out. That's how we're going to feed the system. To get the water in, doesn't matter which kind you use, so to speak. This is just the kind that I bought, a toilet fill valve. That's what I'm using, and I'll have her show you in just a minute. But what you'll need to get this done is just a 1-inch wood bit, and you just drill your hole in there. It comes out the end just like it would on a toilet, and this is all the toilet parts. It just screws on, and there's a gasket on the inside. And so what it looks like on the inside, let me show you, is this. Got a good shot of that? Mm-hmm. So you can see where the water is going to come out down here, and then this is the fill valve. It'll fill up, fill up, fill up, and then shut it out. Now I got the kind that extends out, because you don't want this to be too short, because then it won't hold enough water, and you can still put a 2-liter frozen 2-liter bottle in here, which I intend to do. And then this cooler will keep it cold for a good long while. And out here in the Texas heat, that's what's needed. Now to come off of this, you just get a toilet fitting just like you would at home. They sell them at every hardware store. This is designed to connect to here, which is 3/4. Alright, and I'll just thread it on when the time comes. And then this is going to go to my 1/2-inch PVC pipe that I'm running my water from. This is going to my water source that's going to fill this bottle up, and I'll show you that when we're done as well. So with that, we'll be back in a few minutes after we have the system together. Alright, final shot of everything we've done here for our chickens. Now we've only got these out here, there's a couple in there, but I built this system for 40 chickens, so when you see it you'll understand why. We've got 32 over there in the brooder. So if you look right down here, you can see where I ran the water line. It's all hooked up, pressured up, no leaks. Comes all the way down, and it comes up right here. I just 90'd here and then ran it all the way across. And then down under here, we just 90'd it back to where the jug is. Alright, so down here, you can come on this side because you won't see. She'll show you, she'll put the camera down here so you can see down in there the connection fittings. This is my water line feed, so where I ran the 1/2-inch to, and this is just your standard bathroom hose connection, which I showed you in the other video, hooked to the pipe. This is the feed. This is 1/2-inch that goes to 3/4 that goes to 1-inch. And then we'll show you how this operates. So right now it's full. That, remember, that's just your toilet fitting, and I'm going to drain this system. It's going to go down pretty quick because I've got a 1-inch drain valve on the system to be able to drain it and clean it out. Now it's filling right now, but I just wanted you to see it, so I'm going to let it empty on down so that you can tell it's filling through this little hose right here. Alright, so now I'm going to close my valve. And now it'll fill back up just like a toilet will. This allows it, and this cooler will keep it at a good temperature for the chickens. And it just takes a minute to fill back up, and when it fills all the way up, it shuts off automatically by itself. So no more having to water. Oh, and if you look in here, you can see that there's enough room for a 1 liter ice bottle in there. So you just drop it in there, and it'll give them really, really cold water, which is good for them, especially in this 100-degree summer heat. And so this is my water system. Now if you come down here,
there's Jethro, our rooster.
Here's my 1-inch. That's my 1-inch washout valve. So, you know, so I can just open it and all the water comes out. And if she'll get down here with me. Alright, so I'm going to take this now. Sorry about that. So there is 4 nipples. And then I've got 2 rows. There's 1 row, and then there's another row behind it all the way down. You can see the other row going across. And they both connect to the feed lines right over there. So, alright, there you can see where they connect to the feed lines. And then this comes out, and I just got that clean out valve. Alright, so that is the chicken water on the Texas Patriots farm. If you have any questions, just fire away, and I'll be glad to answer them. Until then, we'll see you next time. Alright, I just wanted to cover the cost of this system just real quick. I think I've got about $100 into the system, but you got to remember that I spent a little extra on the nipples because I didn't want to order them online. If you're going to do a big system, you can get 100 of them for like $28. Online. If you buy them locally, they're about $4.99 to $5.99 for a pack of 4. So that's how I bought that. So there was quite a bit of extra cost in my nipples. Way better off buying them by the 100 for $28. The water cooler, the Igloo water cooler I bought it from Walmart. I believe it was $20. And then I ended up with an extra stick or 2 of PVC and some extra 90s and things like that. So if I got down to exactly what I spent and I ordered the nipples online, I would have probably spent about $60. And so that's the cost. If you don't have some of the tools like the drill bit and the tap, you know, those are going to be an extra cost as well. So just keep that in mind. But if you've got the tools already, you could probably put this system together for about $60. So if you have any questions on the tools or how I put it together, feel free to let me know. Texas Patriot out.